While Kremlin propaganda keeps boasting about power and invincibility, reality tells a different story. Enemy drones keep buzzing over Moscow, and Russia's air defense system is full of holes. Even Solovyov couldn't stay silent. He openly admitted that Russia still doesn't have an effective air defense system. Hundreds of drones are freely penetrating deep into Russian territory. This isn't just a warning, it's a full-blown alarm. Military experts confirm the country is running out of missiles and launch systems. There simply aren't enough to cover such a vast territory. A logical question arises: if the authorities can't even protect their own capital, why are they obsessed with seizing more land? No answer. Just the usual script: loud accusations, witch hunts, and calls for harsher measures. Military blogger Yevgeny Galman is blunt: broken down equipment is being sent to the front. Junk, rust, and scrap metal. Regional administrations brag about their help, sending rusty UAZ vehicles that soldiers don't even bother repairing. These buckets with bolts do more harm than good. Meanwhile, the Artem plant in Kiev is being struck for the 6th time. So what? It's still operating. Back in World War II, disabling a plant required strategic bombing campaigns, not random hits. That's not happening here. What we're seeing is not a military strategy, it's a show. Even voices inside the system are asking the obvious: how are drones crossing hundreds of kilometers and dozens of regions without being shot down? Where is the layered air defense? Why not shoot down 10% at the first line, another 10% at the second, and so on? Instead, we hear, "Oops, they flew over us again." That's not a defense system, it's a joke. Solovyov also brought up a key point: Russia once led in laser weapon tech, but now pretends lasers don't exist. Israel and China are already taking drones out with lasers, while Russia sticks to animations and fantasy presentations. A major problem is Western satellites. They provide detailed radar coverage maps, showing the blind spots in Russia's defense, ideal gaps for drone routes. But again, why do those gaps exist in the first place? Where are the mobile units? Why aren't they covering these zones? The answer: they move around. They set up ambushes. They're camouflaged. But in reality, they're too slow, they're inactive, they're not in position when needed. The usual excuses. At the same time, Russia is bleeding soldiers. The body count has reached the millions. Experts say the regular army has been almost entirely destroyed. Replacements now include fresh conscripts, foreign mercenaries, and hastily mobilized reserves. This isn't the force that once operated in Syria or Chechnya. It's just cannon fodder. Stats: at the time of the 2022 invasion, the Russian army had about 750,000 troops. Now over 1 million have died. And this is just the beginning unless strategy drastically changes. These aren't Putin's soldiers anymore, they're just everyday Russians. From rural villages, from depressed regions. No chance. No choice. Meanwhile, over 60% of Russians reportedly want the war to end. But nobody protests. Fear runs deep. The propaganda machine is still spinning. But every family has now lost someone. Slowly, that's changing public sentiment. Quietly, but irreversibly. The Russian army today is an army with no missiles, no tech, no logistics, and no clear purpose. Even the most loyal supporters are scratching their heads. Solovyov is ranting on air, but his words now sound more like panic than confidence. Why does Russia need new territories if it can't defend its own capital? Where did the defense budget go? Where are the rockets, the lasers, the air defense systems, the trained army? There are no answers. Just corpses, burning wreckage, and airstrikes that accomplish nothing. The country that once threatened the world with a doomsday weapon can't even stop a cheap drone. A country where money goes to propaganda instead of protection. Where patriotism ends on the TV screen, and at the front lines, there's only fear, fatigue, and resentment. The conclusion is simple: Russia is losing. Not just on the battlefield, but in the minds of its people. Even the most fanatical are starting to see the truth: this greatness is just smoke and mirrors. Behind it lies a gaping hole in the sky, in the army, and in the thinking of those who keep this pointless war going.